Okay, in this first video, we're going to go through your new deck. It's called Fastest Mates. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to go through the cards. Fire Prophecy. With all good decks, you need to do damage. Fire Prophecy is a nice cheap card that does 3 damage to a target creature. It's useful and is also handy if you need to get rid of a card that you can't afford at that time and draw another card. But you're not obliged to do that. You can always decline. But it's a nice, cheap early card. If it's in your hand, in your first hand, that's great. Bone Crusher Giant is also brilliant for removal. You've got Stomp, instant, and don't forget you can play that on their turn if you've got enough mana to pay it, and it only costs 2 mana. And then on the second time, you can get the Bone Crusher Giant out, and it does 4/3. It really, really is one of my favourite cards, and it's so useful. You've got 4 Cultivate. You search your library for up to 2 basic land cards. Always choose 2 cards. Okay, make sure you always get 2 cards, and you can play one of those lands cards straight away. So it really is a really useful card because you've got so many powerful creatures in this deck. That you need the lands to come out quickly for this deck to be effective. Mythos of Eluna. Right, this looks pretty complicated, but it's not. What it can do is copy any card that you have out on the playing field, except this card. This is a legendary creature. You can only have one legendary, when it's a legendary creature, you can only have one on the battlefield. Ideally, you want 3 in your deck, but you only had enough to get 2 of these. Eventually, we'll get you 3, uh, but at the moment, you've got 2. But let's talk about Mythos of Eluna again. This card can make a copy of Technotronic Giant, Terror of the Peaks, Elder Gargaroth, Honey Mammoth, Beanstalk Giant. That card can become one of those, and you also get an option. It will come up if you can play the option where you can do damage to another creature before you do anything else. For instance, let's say you've got Terror of the Peaks out and he does 5 damage, and the other person's got a creature that you really don't like and you don't want on there, and it's a 4/4 creature, say. You can get Terror of the Peaks to do damage to that creature as well. Okay, hopefully it will come up and I'll show you what I mean. But basically, this card can copy any creature that you've got on the battlefield, but do not copy that one because it won't work. You've just chucked it away. Now, Thassa, Deep Dwelling. This is the best card on the deck. Um, the, this really is useful card. You want this one out as soon as you can. Uh, what it does 3 things. It brings back, at the end of your turn, you can select a creature to bring back into play. So let's say you attacked with Bone Crusher Giant, and so he's tapped. With Thassa, you can bring Bone Crusher Giant back into play, and he's ready to block. With Terror of, it works well with Terror of the Peaks. So if you've got Thassa and you've got Terror of the Peaks out, and you return Bone Crusher Giant, it does 4 damage to another creature as it comes back. Hopefully, I'll show one of the games this will happen, and I show you what I mean. Okay, Tectonic Giant is a brilliant card. You know what that does. You've played it. Okay. Squash. This spell costs 3 less to cast if you control a giant. So if you've got a giant on the battlefield, it only costs 3 mana. Okay, and it does 6 damage to target creature or planeswalker. Okay, it does 6 damage, and it can cost either 5 to play or only 2. Sorry. Terror of the Peaks, you're used to this card, you know what it does. It works really well with Elder Gargaroth. You've only got 2 of these. I can only get you 2 of these at the moment. Elder Gargaroth attacks or blocks it. You choose one. You create a 3/3 green beast creature token. You can go and gain 3 life, or you can draw a card. So if you're short on cards, draw a card. If you're low on life, gain 3 life. If you can create a 3/3 green beast creature token and you got Terror of the Peaks out, that's 3 damage to the creature or to the player. Okay, Honey Mammoth. This works really well. Okay, the combinations are endless, but basically if you've got Thassa out, okay, and you've got Honey Mammoth, you gain 4 life when he comes into play. So the card to bring back all the time if you've got Thassa is Honey Mammoth, because each time you will get an extra 4 life. Beanstalk Giant is as powerful as many lands as you've got, but it's also a good card to pull land. Sorcerer Adventure is search your library for a basic land card, put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle. And that only costs you 3 mana. And then you can play Beanstalk Giant. You may not want to do that and play Beanstalk Giant straight away. Okay, then we've got your lands. You've got 2 islands, 9 mountains, 7 forests, 2 Prismari campus. It enters the battlefield tapped, but it's blue or red. Rugged Highlands. I would have rather have 2 Temple of Abandonment. Again, you scry. Scry means you know what the next card is, and if you don't want it, you can put him at the bottom of your deck. But Rugged Highlands, it gives you an extra life. You gain a life. Temple of Mastery is also a scry card. There's another card that I really want you to have in this deck, but you just haven't got it yet, and you haven't got the means to get it, but you will have it. And that's the deck. Okay, so I'm going to end this video now, and then we're going to play Sparky a couple of times and show you how to play it. Okay.